On December 16, 2012, a 23-year-old female was brutally raped on a moving bus in southern New Delhi. She was with a male friend at the time and was under the impression the bus was public transport. Here is a news broadcast from December 20th, 2012.
Anger flares in India following the gang rape of a 23-year-old medical student on a moving bus in New Delhi. Anti-rape protests swept the country as people from all quarters stood united, calling for more action from authorities. The student was gang raped on Sunday night and was later thrown semi-naked out of the moving vehicle. The girl's male friend tried to prevent the accused from molesting her, but the men also attacked him. The victim, who is on ventilator support, has severe genital, abdominal, and head injuries and is battling for her life in a city hospital. The nature of the incident has shocked the conscience of a nation where one woman is raped every 20 minutes, according to the National Crime Records Bureau. Women lawmakers from opposition parties demonstrated outside Parliament in New Delhi, urging the government to crack down on crimes against women. Under a barrage of criticism, India's ruling Congress Party said they were taking action.
There is a rising demand that there has to be a quick judicial response to such things, and that a fast-track court is imperative so as to ensure that the dignity of the victim, as well as to facilitate the witnesses and the other concerned people who will depose in front of the court.
The police have arrested the bus driver and 3 others in connection with the incident.
She died 13 days later. 6 men were later accused. However, only 4 made it to court because 1 was a juvenile and 1 was found dead before the trial. Here is a CNN broadcast from September 15, 2013.
Calls for death. Protesters simulate what they want to see happen to the 4 men convicted of the crime that shook this country. A 23-year-old student gang raped inside a moving bus in the nation's capital. Sexually assaulted with an iron rod, her internal organs pulled out. The injuries so brutal, she later died. The harshest of punishments, cause of celebration for some.
Why are you distributing sweets? Because I'm very happy with this death sentence.
Others demanding more.
The judge has just sentenced all 4 convicts to death, but these protesters say that's not enough. They want the juvenile to be given a death sentence as well.
2 weeks ago, the 5th suspect, 17 when the crime was committed, was sentenced to just 3 years in a correctional home. Defense lawyers say they will appeal the adult's verdict in a higher court. Protesters worry the process could delay the hanging.
We are happy, but not fully happy. 1 step has been done, 2 or 3 steps remain, and we want them to be hanged as soon as possible.
Rapes are common in India, but December 16th was the tipping point. Even an animal would not have done what a human did to another human being, she says. I feel ashamed to even call them human beings. The judge's rationale for the sentencing: when crime against women is on the rise in India, courts cannot turn a blind eye. The question now, will this judgment change anything?
It will have long-term implication for the predators, for the perpetrators of the crime, because the message is that you will not be spared.
The victim's mother also satisfied. This will create terror in the minds of criminals, she says. My daughter had told me that such people should be burned alive. The judgment is ultimately the way she wanted it to be. I hope her soul will rest in peace now. Also some solace for the tens of thousands of other rape victims in India still awaiting justice. Sunima Udas, CNN.
In both of these
New
past
Delhi.
videos, the major social uproar from the Indian people has been shown. In fact, if it weren't for these protests, the gang rape would have been long forgotten, and the legislative action taken since then would not have occurred. Since the December 16, 2012 rape, much legislative action has been taken, including a law passed just 3 months after the December gang rape that expanded the definition of rape, said healthcare providers have to give free medical care to victims, and that there is mandatory jail time for any public servant who fails to register a complaint or commit sexual assault. The public servant portion of this bill is particularly significant because in the past, women who were raped would go to the police to report the crime, and they would sometimes be raped again by the police themselves. Another part of this new law is the outlawing of the two-finger test. The two-finger test, or virginity test, is a test performed on many rape victims to determine whether or not the victim has really been raped. However, not only is this technique ethically wrong, it violates the rape victim, it is also medically wrong. The two-finger test is an inspection of the hymen, an external membrane covering the vaginal area of a woman, using two fingers to see if it is torn. The idea is that you can only have been raped if your hymen is recently torn, because the hymen is torn during the first sexual intercourse a woman has. Thus, a sexually active woman can't have been raped. Additionally, some women can be born without a hymen, and even a virgin woman can have torn her hymen doing anything from swimming to biking to just plain walking. This is one great step toward equality for women and justice for rape victims in India. Along with the new legislation is the development of more tools to help women. One of these is a website called Safe City. Safe City is a site developed to help, quote, identify locations where women have experienced or witnessed any type of sexual harassment, verbal comments, graphic behavior, menace, anything, unquote. It is easy to submit a report and helps develop, quote, hotspots in a city where abuse has been reported, unquote. Once you report, it joins the list of reports and shows up on the interactive map. Then, someone may go to the interactive map, find their area, and view these reports. This information can later be used so that women can feel safer in their city and avoid certain areas. Along with this Safe City tool, there's been the development of many graphs and the collection of data on reported rape cases, keeping in mind that many Indian women are afraid to report cases, so the data is a bit skewed. We do not know if more rapes are happening or more are reported. Either way, these graphs don't show the statistics that the rest of the developments do. Take a look. In the first graph, the rise in crime against women in New Delhi between January 1st and April 15th of each year, 2012 and 2013, is shown. While reports of cases may have gone up after the 2012 gang rape and resulting protest, it probably did not go up 600%. In this second graph, virtually the same thing is shown. Reports are going up, by a lot, but how much is more reports and how much is crime going up? In the third graph, crime in New Delhi is shown. The important statistics are a 300% increase in crimes against women from 2012 to 2013, and that 60% of all rape victims are minors. The fourth graph shows more statistics of the same nature as the first three, noting that registration of cases helps with the phenomenal increase in cases in some areas. They also note that the number of cases went from 51,479 to 73,958 from 2012 to 2013. In the fifth and final graph, it shows 2013 to 2014 statistics, in general showing a 20% increase in rape cases. Additionally, it is mentioned that help desks for women have been set up at police stations, and health lines have also been set up. As you can see, while legislation and enforcement of rape laws has increased, in general, the amount of rapes has also increased and continues to increase. This is because the problem is so deeply rooted in Indian culture that a few laws cannot remedy it. Before the 1700s, much of India followed Vedic laws formed from the Vedas, ancient scriptures. In these, women were considered equal and were treated fairly, but by the 1700s, these laws had been pretty much completely forgotten and ignored. And a philosopher named Manu came along. Manu believed many things, but some of his strongest beliefs were about women. Manu believes women were, quote, the weaker sex, unquote, quote, not fit for independence, unquote, property, undeserving of freedom, and destined to live a life that should, quote, be dependent on men, unquote. All of this Manu wrote in the Manu Smriti, or the, quote, laws of Manu, unquote, which became one of the most followed and worshipped texts of all of the Hindu religion. Since much of the Indian population is Hindi, and most Indian laws are based on Hindu culture, soon Manu's ideas on women became the cultural standard. In short, many Indian men are brought up believing they are more powerful and of a higher social class than women. Some of them just prove it by raping. Mahatma Gandhi was a great Indian leader who believed in peace and nonviolence. He also believed in equal rights for women, once stating, quote, "Woman is the companion of man, and she has equal right of freedom and liberty," unquote. Gandhi fought for women's rights throughout his life. When he died in 1948, women were not equal, but Gandhi had helped make some strides, including laws giving free legal aid and a right to privacy for rape victims, the ability to report a rape crime however long after the incident, the right to record a statement in the woman's own home and with whoever she pleases in the audience, and the protection of her identity. Along with these slowly changing laws comes a slowly changing culture. As the progression of the culture changes, the image of woman changes. Things are improving for women. One example is this recent
अखबार
हाँ जी
जल्दी चश्मा
हाँ जी
चाय गरम चाय
क्यों जी
टिकट प्लीज
टिकट दो
ये आपके साथ है
ना जी
चाय 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 टेटली फ्लेवर टी बैग चाय में ट्विस्ट लाइफ में ट्विस्ट
अरे मेरा सामान मेरी बीवी
As you can see, this ad depicts a woman standing up for her rights. The Indian culture is changing. But since the December 16th, 2012 rape, there have still been many rapes. A few are: March 15th, 2013. A woman was camping with her husband when she was gang raped. April 30th, 2013. A 4-year-old was raped and later died after being abducted. June 4th, 2013. A U.S. tourist was raped by 3 men who offered her a ride in their truck. August 11th, 2013. A 7-year-old was gang raped in the toilet compartment of a train. August 22nd, 2013. A photojournalist on assignment was gang raped in Mumbai. December 24th, 2013. A woman was raped by 2 different gangs at 2 different times on the same night, Christmas Eve. January 14th, 2014. A lost 51-year-old Danish tourist was gang raped. January 20th, 2014. A tribal girl was raped by 13 tribe members because she had an affair. May 27th, 2014. 2 cousins, 14 and 15, were kidnapped, raped, and hung. June 3rd, 2014. Another girl was kidnapped, raped, and hung because she wouldn't marry. While rape is a stark issue in India, we have similar issues in our culture. Here are some stats from the Huffington Post about rape in the United States of America. Clearly, rape is a problem that affects women and men around the world. Culture and laws are changing and progressing toward equality for women. Hopefully, in the future, there will be no rape. Women will be considered equal in every culture. Citizens, tourists will feel safe on the streets in India. Servicemen and servicewomen of our country and of others will be able to do their job without being sexually violated. Rape will be considered an incredibly serious offense, and children will be raised learning that rape is never okay. I hope that in the future, rape never occurs. I hope that in India, women will be safer in their country, and Gandhi's hope for the future of India will become a reality. I would now like to propose 10 seconds of silence in memory of all rape victims.